This video is on the fascinating topic that is Land Rover Defender rear door wheel carriers. Now we're not really total experts on this, we're just sharing with you what we've worked out trying to fix our poor old Land Rover Defender here. Now we managed to get, our door was rusty, we got a different door, and the cheapest door we could find didn't have a spare wheel carrier. So we got into the topic of spare wheel carriers and how to fit spare wheel carriers. Now this is what our car, the old rusty door, oh there we go, yeah, that's what Ian was pointing at. That's what our rusty door looked like, and it had the spare wheel carrier there with all these holes drilled through. And the holes, do you want to spin the door around? Now the holes actually majoritively line up. And basically you've got this cross bracing on the inside of the door, and there's a plate that goes in. In fact, let's even grab that plate. Oh gosh, oh, that goes on the other side of the door, doesn't it? And then, oh yeah, that plate there with the screws coming through goes from the inside. The bolts protrude through. You've got a little plate you clamp up on the outside to spread the load like a sandwich. You bolt that up, and then your spare wheel goes on there. We could find the new ones, so we'll put these on the website. You can get the standard type, we're going to call it. New one also comes with this sort of little hoopy bit in the middle, and I think that's so that when you put the wheel on, that hoop stands up above the bolts, as you can see, and makes locating the wheel a bit easier. So in the new kit you get a new one of those, and they've got some sort of zinc plating on them to stop them rusting, like so, and you've got the bolts there. The later type, the one-piece door on the Land Rover Defender, which was a totally different construction on the inside of the door. The bracing was different, they're more like pressed door skins. They had this later type wheel carrier, which I've actually found out is exactly the same as a Discovery 1 wheel carrier. So if you want to buy one, you can buy a Disco 1 or a late Defender Puma type one. Now I quite fancied this type, I think it's a bit neater. So we've actually developed an adapter plate. So what this plate enables you to do is to bolt a plate to your inside of your door, a load spreader. Then this goes on the outside of your door, and we've got sort of a neoprene foam gasket on the inside of this, which I think was a bit of an omission on Land Rover's part when they sandwiched that. And then that will allow you to fit one of these Disco 1 Puma type wheel carriers. So that's what we're going to fit on our car. So we're going to take our undrilled car and drill and mash it up a bit. So right, Ian's gone, and Ian, you can. So the inside of our spare wheel carrier door looks much like our original door, apart from it hasn't got any holes drilled. So the first step is to put the adapter plate in like so, and you can see obviously it lines up with the. And is there a way up for that to go, Ian, or are you happy with it going?
Yeah, you've got to have the one small hole at the bottom.
Okay, so you've got two holes at the top, one at the bottom. Right. Okay, you want to space that up? Are you trying to space that up a bit there, are you, Ian? Yeah. You want a little bit of a spacer? What do you reckon? Bit of cardboard. That's it, that just evens that up a bit. You happy with that?
Yeah.
Right, okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to drill, obviously we've got that as a template. What do you reckon? Should we drill one first and put that bolt through, and then the others will all be good? What do you reckon?
Yeah, we can do it that way.
Yeah. If we mark them all, I'm worried there will be a little bit out. If we do one, do that, what do you reckon? Do that bottom one first, as he's on his own in the bottom there. Right, we'll get on and drill this. What diameter is he?
We're putting M6s
through, so
like 6.5.
yeah.
Like that.
Right, we'll get on and drill that, and then we'll come back. You don't want to watch us drill. Okay, so we've drilled through. We've just put the bolt through there. We've just spun a nut on the other side of the door just to keep it. Oh, it's hard to see with the reflection. Just to keep it in the right place. Now we're going to go and drill all those other, how many holes have we got? Another six? Seven, yeah. So we'll drill the next 6 holes, and then we'll come back and we'll put that plate on the other side. So we now have all 7 holes drilled in the door, so that's what it looks like from the inside. Might be slightly easier to see from the other side. So there you go, you can see we've got that pattern. Now we need to put the adapter plate. So this has got studs. These are actually welded studs in here. We need to now, so we've put 2 of the little bolts through, and they're stainless bolts. We can supply them with that. Yeah, okay. Now one thing to note is this neoprene here is going to stop the steel adapter plate mating to the aluminium door. Let me just show people, because what you get is when you've got aluminium and steel, they do cause rusting. I think they call it galvanic. So we can push the plate in there. That should hold itself if we leave it. And then we've got the bolts coming through. We then now need to put the inner plate on. Okay, and that's sort of, so that sandwiches the door. And then I spin a couple of nuts on the inside of that. Okay.
Should help for a bit of sound insulation as well.
Yeah.
This outside panel.
Yeah, it's actually, it stops that drumming, yeah, because that panel, we were just noticing, it drums a bit. We're going to put some soundproofing in there, but when we tighten that up, it'll be interesting to see if that does drum. So we'll put those other, so how many more bolts have we got to put in them? So we've got to put the other, yeah, we've got to put all of those in. So we'll put those other 5 bolts through and tighten those up and then come back. So we now have the outer plate fitted, that's all tightened up. Do you want to just flip the door open here and let's have a look inside? It looks much the same as it did when we had them not done up, but there we go. We've got, that's all in there, that's all neat. That'll all be covered by the door trim, but you can see the load spreader plate comes right out to the steel frame. All good. Oh gosh. Right, so now we're nearly ready to fit the wheel carrier. One thing to note, the wheel carrier goes with the one bolt at the top, the 2 bolts at the bottom. You can't actually get it wrong because the spacing between the bolts is different, so you can't get it on, as Ian's demonstrating. It'll only go up one way. Land Rover, foolproof that, good old Land Rover. So that's the way it's going to go, but we have to drill these top 2 bolt holes now. So they look like they're a bit bigger, aren't they, Ian? Hey?
Yep.
M8s.
There are M8s going through there.
So you're going to try and do a pilot hole. You could centre punt. You're going to hope we get in the middle, are you?
Yeah. You have got tolerance on all of these anyway.
Yeah. That's just the aluminium skin, that one.
Yeah.
So the reason we put, these were more for security, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we put these in so that otherwise someone could, in theory, unbolt and get a spanner and unbolt the carrier and the wheel together. But by putting these bolts in at the top, going through to the inside, we went. They just unbolt the door, weren't they?
Yeah, the door's not too hard to take off.
Take off. Right. They're getting pretty good at it as well. It's terrible. It's going to get to the point where you can't leave your Defender anyway. Right. So we're going to try and put a kit together with all the bits you need, aren't we? The neoprene gasket. Okay. You're going to put the nut on the inside or the outside? The nut on the inside.
On the inside,
yeah, I
if you
would.
take the,
Yeah, and it
take the
won't
nut
rust.
off the outside, you can then just push the bolt through.
Yeah.
Whereas this way you can't get access to the nut.
Nut, yeah.
We're just using flange nuts.
But yeah, as I say, you're limited in how far you go. I got that one in. Because they'll just nick the door. How far you go with Defender securities. If you're worried about having your car nicked, buy something crap. Oh, can I say that? Right. YouTube will be scanning my language. Right, we're going to tighten those up. Ain't going to take a minute, is it? Right, actually, I'll go and while you're finishing that, I'll go and find some wheel nuts because we're going to need some wheel nuts for that spare wheel carrier. So that is it, all done and ready. Actually, we better get Kate to take a picture of it for the website, haven't we? And then we'll put the spare wheel on. Right, then there we go. Right, we're going to have a video now of Ian doing his daily workout. So yeah, get the wheel at the top. Come on, Ian. Right, let me have. We've got a collection of wheel nuts. It looks like we've got a spare alloy wheel nut because we've got alloys on this one, which I guess is always handy. They have a habit of getting lost by the side of the road at night when you're changing your wheel.
Nice tight threads on there.
Right, anyway, I think you get the idea of our spare wheel adapter. So yeah, that's the job done.